Bismillah, Assalamu alaikum, brother and sister in faith, especially those who uphold truth and resist falsehood. Welcome back to our channel. This is the second video, and the topic will be about from Imam Al-Ghazali rahimahullah to our beloved Sheikh Imran Hossein. And before I start the topic and talk about Imam Al-Ghazali and Imran Hossein, I'm gonna highlight concept, a very important concept that I'm going to dedicate a topic to talk about it in upcoming videos, which is what is knowledge. So it's about the theory of knowledge for those who want to know how to start it. And what is knowledge? If you're going to try to search or try to start looking what is knowledge in our day, you're gonna actually being locked on one-eyed approach of knowledge, of defining knowledge, and this one-eyed mainly will be a scientific way to analyze what is knowledge, which is in this case will be away from the truth, because it should contain both oceans. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna use the two ocean method to define the knowledge, but I'm not gonna define it by myself. I'm gonna go back and see who defined it using that method. And you will, when you go back, you will discover like one of the Sahaba, Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anh, when he been asked what is knowledge, he said as follow. He said that knowledge is not about reading this book or that book, or it's knowledge is a light that Allah casted in your heart. So what does he mean here? He meant that knowledge contains both ocean. Reading book definitely is important, but not using only the resource or this like way of analyzing to define something is totally wrong. So you need to know that you will need another source, which is the internal source, that will in the end harmonically you will redefine things in a truth way. So what he meant by that, more if we're gonna go more deeply, he meant that knowledge is Allah. And by the way, knowledge is one of the Allah attributes. So I will continue talking about this inshallah, as I told you in an upcoming video, but I will add something here. I'm gonna give you an example of how this definition of knowledge, how the outcome will look like. So one of the Sahaba, Ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, cousin of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said once that if I will share what I know about a lot of knowledge, people will accuse me to be kafir, or even sometimes they will plan to kill me. This is show you how truth, knowledge can, the outcome can be when you like share it with others. So you need to be very careful. And we know that our Prophet Sheikh Imran Hossein is already showed courage and showed that he has a backbone when he shared some of the knowledge. Like when he talked about the conquer of Constantinople in time, and when he talked about and when he talked about Christian, the people of Ummah Nabi Isa alayhi salam, he shared a lot of information, a lot of knowledge, where people can accuse him, and we already have witnessed that. So not all of people will understand if they don't actually understand the method of two oceans. So it will be very difficult to understand. It's exactly the relation that Allah mentioned between Musa and Khidr. So to get that understanding, you need to have that method. Inshallah, we're gonna cover all this in the upcoming videos, different titles. So going back to the main topic, we're gonna talk about from Imam Al-Ghazali, Hujjat al-Islam, to our beloved Sheikh Imran Hossein, and I'm gonna cover like 7 points. About 7 points. So I'm gonna talk about the how both are same, even though actually they are the time between them is 1,000 years. Sheikh Imam Al-Ghazali died in 505 Hijri, and today is 1446, which is almost 1,000 years. So and Sheikh Imran Hossein, who lived until today, alhamdulillah, and we ask Allah to increase his knowledge and protect him, so we can understand more and analyze more about this method, because this method is very difficult to establish, and Sheikh Imam Al-Ghazali have done most of the work, even though it's still there is a lot to do. So I'm going to talk about the similarity and the difference between them in respect of the method of approaching knowledge. I'm going to talk about their background and their choice, and talk about their projects. Both had a main project in their life, and both had sub-projects. And I'm definitely will cover the amazing part, which is that they both came to the same outcome when it comes to recitation of the Qur'an and studying the Qur'an. And I'm gonna end with telling you why I'm using these two sources. Definitely, this will gradually bring you to understand why I'm using. So let's begin with their background or their profile. So talking about Hujjat al-Islam, Imam Al-Ghazali, it's very difficult, and I will never in such a video cover all his life and all his work. So I'm gonna try to use. I'm gonna refer to one of our imams in that time, Imam Al-Dhahabi. He said about Imam Al-Ghazali. I think that will give us the understanding of how important is Imam Al-Ghazali in his time and in our time too. So Imam Al-Dhahabi said, Al-Ghazali is a Hujjat al-Islam, proof of Islam. He's been given this title not because of he need that titles, just to appreciate his work, and he is the only one who been given that title. And I will inshallah talk about the relation between that title and his main project. So he said, Imam Al-Dhahabi, one of his words, he said that if the whole work of Muslim books like our Madahib and all the books before Al-Ghazali was burned or demolished, we will need only two sources to bring them back. And he said we're going to need the Qur'an and Ihya Ulum al-Din, which is the work of one of the masterpieces of Imam Al-Ghazali. So this shows you how important this person, Imam Al-Ghazali. And about Imran Hossein, we know him through his lectures, through his books, and even his interviews when he talked about himself and where his profile that he studied in different university, and he has PhD in international relationship and economy, and even monetary system, and even that he studied with Fadl Rahman Al-Ansari. All this show you how great Sheikh Imran Hossein developed in approaching the two ocean knowledge. So going back to the similarity and differences, both have Syrian language. Imam Al-Ghazali had Farsi, and Imran Hossein, Sheikh Imran Hossein has English as like main language, and he definitely has his own native language. And both are from the same location. Both came from the same place, which is Khorasan. Imam Al-Ghazali born in Tunis, which is in the heart of Khorasan, and Sheikh Imran Hossein said once, many times actually in many interviews, that he is his family from there. So that's interesting. They are from the same location, and both, when it comes to choice, both when they want to fish for student, choose Khorasan. And Khorasan is nowadays is like divided in many countries like Iran and Afghanistan and Pakistan and some North countries in that region. So both actually aim to fish from there. Al-Ghazali ended his life there, and he tried to fish there too. So it's interesting to see this, that both are seeing like the potential from that region, and I can now understand why Allama Iqbal said once that this Ummah have stopped thinking 600 years ago. I actually want to add more than 600. I want to start actually, since the Ghazali left this world 505 until Allama Iqbal, we haven't find anyone approaching the two ocean methodology. So the Ummah stopped thinking more than 600 years, maybe 800 years. Until, alhamdulillah, Allah, from His mercy, He brought Allama Iqbal, and you can see that he wrote a book that shows this two ocean methodology, when he wrote a book about the reconstruction religious thought in Islam. And then follow him his student Fadl Rahman Al-Ansari, when he wrote the book of the Quranic foundation of and structure of Muslim society. So and we reached one of great students, Sheikh Imran Hossein, when he applied the method in his work. So all of that shows how they are walking in the same line, which is very interesting, and I can just say one word, that both of them are a light that Allah sent to us in this in the darkness of both ages. So definitely our age is more darker than there, as Allah said it in the Quran. انطلقوا إلى ظل ذي ثلاث شعب, which is we're gonna proceed in history in the stages of darkness, in three stages of darkness, that what Sheikh Imran Hossein from his knowledge shared with us. So the main thing I want to talk about both of them is the developing of the two ocean methodology. The approach of knowledge or approach to this method was different. Sheikh Imran Hossein amazingly did it in very profound way and very strong way, which is he went directly to the Quran and extract the two ocean methodology from the Quran, which is just an amazing how he did that. And this is again mercy from Allah. And then when you look to Imam Al-Ghazali, you will see he did it in a different way, which is indirect way. He used the methods that exist in his time and prepare a case and a need to bring about the principle of the torture methodology. But definitely Sheikh Imran Hossein have done some work, and most of the establishment of this principle was done by Imam Al-Ghazali. And inshallah we'll cover some of his book that he talked about that by analyzing them. Talking about the projects, starting with Sheikh Imran Hossein. Sheikh Imran Hossein, his main project was about bringing the branch of eschatology in Islam, where he is pioneering that, and he established all the foundation of that knowledge. And if someone asks you what is Islamic eschatology, the definition mentioned by Sheikh Imran Hossein many times is about studying and analyzing and understanding the end of history. And the end of history has nothing to do with the end of time. History has to do with us human in this earth. Our history is about truth and falsehood. So it has nothing to do with end of time, end of this universe. And this knowledge been shared actually by Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he had the access, and he saw almost everything. He saw us, even he saw what kind of war we're gonna do. He saw that we're gonna bring some army that he praised when he saw the army will liberate, conquer Constantinople. So all of this has to do with eschatology that Sheikh Imran Hossein pioneering, and his main project is all about. And he has sub-projects. One of his sub-projects is to fish student. One of his also sub-project is the Muslim villages, which I have some disagreement with how to approach, even though I understand why he took that and he chose that project to prepare us or bring new model of scholarship, of Islamic scholarship. So I'm inshallah gonna talk about that on upcoming videos more in details. And he had many other sub projects, like preparing the way of both Ummah, Ummah Muhammad and Ummah Nabi Isa, friendship and alliance. And he did, mashallah, great work, and he wrote a lot of books. There is a lot of sub-projects that Sheikh Imran Hossein holding. So I want to add something about eschatology. People wondering why eschatology, why it's important to bring this knowledge to the Muslim and to the whole world. The answer for that is very, you will hear a lot of different answers, but I'm going to give you an answer that is very important, as I can see from eschatology. Eschatology is not only about surviving or about knowing the upcoming events. Eschatology actually meant for main an important reason, which is guidance. So, and I'm inshallah gonna talk about that again in details, what I mean by guidance, but I can give you one example. You can study and approach any knowledge according to your need and develop it and maybe create project for it. But if you don't have light, that light the way for you, then you will hit a wall in the end of the road. And we had, as I told you, a lot of example, and I said I'm going to give one example. In our time, we can see we saw Muslim Brotherhood is a big project meant to challenge the system of this age, or the evil system of this age. But the problem of this project is out of guidance. So what happened to that project? It's hit the wall and collapsed. So this is one example. But inshallah, I'm going to bring a lot of examples, and definitely the most important example will be the project of Iran. So I'm going to, inshallah, talk about it in details in upcoming video. So going to Imam Al-Ghazali, what is Imam Al-Ghazali main project? Imam Al-Ghazali main project was to establish the principle of the method, for methodology of the guided methodology toward knowledge. And that methodology is the two-ocean methodology. We refer to it as a two-ocean methodology. So he put all the principle, he established that, he pioneering that definitely, and he wrote a lot of books about that, and it's just amazing. The style he used is just touching the heart and awake you. I actually want those who want to read about Al-Ghazali to avoid reading his work in any other language except Arabic, because you're going to see how powerful the language and the style, that I never found it in any written book, in the books that I have read in Arabic, in Islam. So it's amazing, just amazing how, and that shows you the two-ocean methodology, how it could apply in different field. So this his main project was, and he had also sub-project, like he tried to unite the Ummah by writing one of his book called Qistas al-Mustaqim. Again, is one of the great book, definitely. And in that book, he argued that we can be united easily if we follow the right method. And he mentioned in that book every single point that needed to unite us. And amazing, just amazing. And we inshallah gonna talk about that definitely. Cover that book, which is very unique approach. And this is like their main projects, Sheikh Imran, Hossein and Al-Ghazali. And now we're going to continue, and we're going to bring the amazing outcome that both shared with us. Sheikh Imran Hossein, again, beginning with him, talked about how important the recitation of the Qur'an in our daily life. And even he said in many of his videos that this is like the most important knowledge that he shared with us, the recitation of Qur'an. And he wrote a book for that, which is, he began with the methodology of the Qur'an, and then he updated with two books. One has to do with all the recitation, which is the moon with the Qur'an, and the other one is the star with the Qur'an, which has to do with the study. And amazingly, this outcome, this knowledge that Sheikh Imran Hossein brought to us, Imam Al-Ghazali also did the same thing. And Imam Al-Ghazali wrote a lot of books in the manner of studying and in the manner of recitation. So when it comes to the recitation that Quran, the Imam Hossein taught us that the Quran has to do with the moon, and he was directly from the Quran. That's his approach directly. That's why it's more profound, and you cannot argue against it. It's difficult. But Imam Al-Ghazali did it in, as I told you, indirect way, but both came to the same conclusion, which is that you should recite the Quran monthly, following the moon. About Imam Hossein, we know, he said how we should do, and he talked about the ajza of the Quran, and he sorted in a way which has to do with the knowledge again, because he related to the Quran again. So, and I'm not going to be surprised that this way that the way he separated the ajza through the month could be the same as the Sahaba model, which I'm going to talk about now when we talk about Imam Al-Ghazali in direct way. Imam Al-Ghazali said that the Quran should be recited monthly, and he mentioned a lot of hadith, and that been mentioned in his masterpiece book Ihya Ulum al-Din. It's 4 volume, and he had a quart chapter called How to Recite the Quran, and in that he mentioned a lot of hadith, and one of the hadith that Sheikh Imran Hossein referred to, he mentioned that the Sahaba, one of the Sahabi went to Nabi Muhammad and told him that he can recite the Quran because he's young, he can recite more and more, until when he asked the Nabi Muhammad in the beginning, Nabi Muhammad said, you read it month, you finish the Quran monthly. And then when he went back and back and back, until the Prophet told him that you cannot finish less than a week, a Jum'ah. So this is one of the hadith that Imam Al-Ghazali used, and there's other hadith he used, which is interesting. And what make it more interesting is when he talked about the ajza. He never said that the ajza is like in the middle of Surah Al-Baqarah, as we have it in our Quran today. He said that Sahaba had different ajza according to how they want to how they want to do the khatam of the Quran. Some of them do it monthly, some of them do it 3 weeks, and some of them do it weekly. So, and he said that they put the ajza in a different days. And when he said ajza, he said suwar. He mentioned it very clear. He said it's suwar. The ajza is a suwar of the Quran. So I think now it's very clear that this is a very supporting to what Sheikh Imran Hossein talked about. Even though Sheikh Imran Hossein doesn't need that kind of support, but this is kind of showing you the line, how this is straight line is so powerful. So, and definitely if we go look how the Sahaba made their ajza, I'm not going to be surprised when we discover one of them. This is what Sheikh Imran Hossein shared with us. So, and as you see, the recitation, they have the same, and the studying, Sheikh Imam Al-Ghazali have wrote like several books. He wrote a book called Jawar al-Quran and Duraro. He wrote a book called Qanun al-Kulli al-Ta'wil. He wrote another book called Tafsir Yaqut al-Ta'wil. All of that, he put the method of studying the Quran, and he talked about the stars, how this ayat is like located in different surah, and you need to find the system of meaning of the subject or the word that you're looking for. And it's the same thing that Sheikh Imran Hossein taught us. So this is again show you the relation, even though the time between them is actually 1,000 years, almost 1,000. So, and now I'm going to talk about why I'm using this two resource. I think now it's clear for you to see how important both, because both projects, it's actually completing each other. One of them is the method, and the other one is a field, which is Islamic eschatology. You can apply it in different fields too. You're gonna bring, as Sheikh Imran was saying, you're gonna dazzle the world with knowledge. So why I'm choosing this too? Because, as I told you, Imam Al-Ghazali, he established the principle of the two-ocean methodology, and Sheikh Imran Hossein applied it in his field. So from these two, we can now bring a good way to understand and analyze and study this method, so we can apply it in our daily life. And I'm ending here, and as inshallah for the next video, we're going to talk about, our next topic will be about the eschatology of Masih al-Dajjal, which is going to be a surprise topic, and because it will have a lot of new information or knowledge applying the two-ocean methodology. And our next topic will be the two-ocean method. We're going to start to educate it, part 1. So until now, I thank you, and see you inshallah on next video.